Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going beyond typical alien encounters, spaceships and little green men.
Right.
This is different. We're diving into an encounter that's interwoven with consciousness and different dimensions, what it means to be human, really.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about Yossi Ronen.
Okay.
And his story starts pretty normal, actually, just taking a nap.
A nap.
Yeah. But what happened next wasn't normal at all. Yossi woke up, and he found himself floating above his body.
Wow. So it's like an out-of-body experience.
Exactly. It's an out-of-body experience.
So is this just random? Or did it have something to do with the beings he was about to meet?
That's what's so interesting. Yossi's experience, it doesn't seem random at all. It seems like those beings, they did it on purpose.
Oh, wow.
Almost like preparing him for what was to come, this face-to-face.
A face-to-face, huh?
Yeah, and this is where things get really wild. Imagine waking up from that out-of-body experience, and you come face-to-face with beings who, they fit some of those descriptions of gray aliens.
Mm-hmm.
Short, large black eyes.
Okay. Classic gray aliens.
But there's a twist.
What's that?
Yossi, he describes them as having green skin.
Green skin? That's a new one.
It is, right?
Yeah. I mean, I can only imagine what Yossi must felt.
Oh, I know, right?
Total terror, right?
Yeah.
The unknown, something that just totally changes how you see reality.
Exactly.
Terrifying for anyone.
Yeah, but Yossi, he describes this intense calmness.
Calmness.
Yeah, that these beings radiated.
Huh.
They weren't threatening,
Oh.
more like welcoming.
Interesting. So how did they communicate? I mean, did they speak?
Well, that's the thing. They didn't use spoken language.
They didn't.
It was something way more extraordinary.
Okay, what was it?
Telepathy.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yossi describes it as this, merging of consciousness.
Merging of consciousness.
Yeah. Oneness.
Wow.
Where they exchanged thoughts and emotions without any barriers.
That's amazing. Telepathy, it comes up a lot in these alien encounter stories.
It does.
It makes you wonder, could communication go beyond how we understand language?
Right.
Like, could we communicate through pure thought, pure feeling?
It's a fascinating question.
It is, and it seems like from Yossi's experience that it is possible.
Exactly. Now, here's what blew my mind. These beings, they said they weren't from another planet.
They weren't.
Not in the way that we think of it, no.
So where were they from?
They said they were from another dimension.
Another dimension that changes everything. I mean, that throws everything we think we know about reality right out the window.
It does.
So are we talking about, interdimensional beings?
Yes. And it's a challenging concept,
It is. It is.
But it forces us to think about the possibility that reality as we see it, maybe it's just this tiny part of a much bigger picture.
A much bigger, multi-layered existence. Wow. Okay, so how do they even interact with us? I mean, if they're from another dimension, how are they here?
They explain that they can create these temporary physical bodies.
Yeah.
Like putting on a suit,
Wow. Just to interact with our three-dimensional world, imagine that.
I know.
Shifting our consciousness between different levels of reality.
Right.
Adopting different forms depending on where we are. I mean, if these beings can do that,
The possibility?
the possibilities are endless.
Limitless.
So what was their message? I mean, why were they here?
Well, the main message that they wanted to convey was that we're not just physical bodies.
We're not.
No. They emphasized that we are spirits.
Spirits.
Yeah.
Inhabiting these physical forms.
Yes.
Which is a concept that's found in many spiritual traditions, right?
Exactly.
But to hear it directly from these beings, it must have been quite profound for him.
Oh, I can only imagine.
That concept of duality, having both a spirit and a physical body. I mean, that could totally change how we see ourselves,
It could.
how we interact with each other, how we see our place in the universe.
Yeah.
It's a huge shift in perspective.
It really is. There's also a slightly chilling element to the encounter.
Oh,
Yossi was shown this vision of a beautiful, vibrant world
okay.
being consumed by fire and destruction. It's a warning about the path we're on.
That's pretty intense. But is it like a prediction? Or is it more of a warning?
I think it's important to remember that this vision, it's not necessarily a prediction of doom.
Okay.
It's more like a wake-up call, highlighting the consequences of our actions. the environmental damage,
Right.
the conflicts, the growing divisions.
Yeah, it's a reminder that our choices have consequences, both for ourselves and the planet.
Absolutely. If you're as captivated by Yossi's story as we are, and I'm sure you are, you have to check out Cavalli.top. It's amazing. You'll find so much information about consciousness, spirituality, the potential for humanity to change.
It's like a treasure trove of knowledge.
It really is.
Deepen your understanding of these concepts, and you can explore all these different perspectives on reality.
Exactly. Now, getting back to Yossi's experience, let's talk about fear.
Okay.
Initially, fear was the dominant emotion for him.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But through communication, through openness, that fear gave way to understanding.
That's really powerful. And it's something for all of us to think about, especially if we're open to these possibilities.
Exactly. Encountering the unknown.
Yeah.
Yossi's story, it really reminds us about the potential that we all have to connect with our higher selves.
Yeah.
And if his experience is anything to go by, we might be capable of so much more than we realize.
That's a powerful thought. It challenges us to question those limitations.
Yeah.
To consider that maybe, our potential goes way beyond our physical bodies.
Yeah.
The everyday experiences we have, what if we could unlock that potential? What could we achieve?
Exactly. And you won't believe this. The encounter didn't end there.
It didn't.
Yossi says he continues to communicate with these beings.
He does?
Yeah, primarily through automatic writing.
Automatic writing.
Yeah, it's like he's channeling their messages.
Wow. This ongoing connection.
Oh, I know.
A relationship that continues beyond just that single meeting.
It's incredible.
It makes you wonder what kind of knowledge, what kind of insights he could be receiving.
It's a fascinating question, isn't it?
It is.
There's also this really powerful message about belief.
Belief.
The power of belief shaping reality.
Okay.
Like the placebo effect.
Right.
People experiencing healing just because they believe something will help them.
Right.
And it's like a testament to the potential of our minds and spirits.
Absolutely.
Not just to influence our internal states,
Yeah.
but also the world around us.
Yeah. It really makes you wonder what we could achieve if we fully understood and harnessed that power.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does make you wonder, what else we could achieve if we could just tap into that power.
Exactly. And this leads us to another really fascinating part of Yossi's story.
Okay.
He describes this feeling of immense love and light.
Love and light.
Yeah, when he was connected to the consciousness of those beings,
Wow.
which he later interpreted as their awareness of a higher power.
That's interesting how he contrasts that experience with the more, traditional concepts of God that he had growing up.
Right.
Ones that were often kind of fear-based.
Exactly. It's like our understanding of the divine, maybe it's limited by, our cultural and religious frameworks.
Yeah, maybe there's more to it than we've been taught.
Exactly. And his description of God is something natural.
Natural.
Yeah, something that brings peace and happiness.
Okay.
It really resonates with a lot of contemporary spiritual thought.
Yeah, it's a much more inclusive and less judgmental way of thinking about a higher power.
It is.
It moves away from that idea of an external God who's judging us.
Right.
And it points towards something that's more immanent and interconnected.
Yeah.
Like this divine force that kind of permeates all of existence.
Exactly. And you can really feel this shift in Yossi's perspective on life after this encounter.
Oh, yeah.
He talks about experiencing something called an ontological shock.
An ontological shock.
Yeah, so like this complete upheaval of his understanding of reality.
Wow. I can imagine, if you suddenly realize that everything you thought you knew about yourself and the world was just this tiny piece of a much larger puzzle.
Right.
It would be so disorienting, but also maybe really liberating.
And you can hear the sincerity in his words when he talks about the importance of connecting with our spiritual selves.
Yeah.
And the potential for healing that's within each of us.
It seems like this experience gave him a real sense of purpose.
It did.
And a drive to share his insights and encourage others to explore their own spiritual potential.
Exactly, like to look within themselves and see what's possible.
Yeah, and for anyone who's intrigued by Yossi's story and wants to dive deeper into these ideas, I want to remind you to check out Cavalli.top.
Yes, it's an amazing hub for all sorts of thought-provoking content about consciousness, spirituality, and the potential for positive change in the world.
It's such a valuable resource for anyone on a journey of self-discovery, and looking to understand the mysteries of the universe a little better.
Absolutely. Now, this whole experience also raises the question.
What's that?
Are there different types of extraterrestrial beings out there? Yossi shares his thoughts on why some people report positive encounters, while others describe more negative ones.
Oh, that's interesting. What does he say about that?
His perspective is fascinating.
Yeah.
He suggests that it might not be about good versus bad entities.
Okay.
But rather a reflection of our own consciousness.
Our own consciousness.
Yeah, and how we interact with these beings.
Yeah.
He talks about this concept of oneness.
Oneness.
Where even the seemingly dark aspects are integrated into a larger whole.
So it's like that idea that darkness is just the absence of light.
Exactly.
If we approach the encounter with our own light, our own awareness, our own compassion,
yeah,
it's more likely to be a positive experience.
Exactly. It highlights how important our own internal state is.
Right.
And how that can influence how we see things and how we interact with the world.
Yeah, and maybe that even extends to encounters with beings from other realms.
Exactly. And when asked about the increasing number of reported alien encounters these days, Yossi believes it's connected to the state of humanity right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he feels they're trying to help us wake up to our true nature.
Wake up.
Yeah. Especially given all the division and challenges we face as a species.
That's a really compelling perspective if we entertain the possibility that these beings are aware of our struggles.
Right.
It makes you think about their intentions. Are they here to observe?
Yeah.
To guide us? Or maybe even to intervene in some way?
Exactly. And then there's this whole other idea floating around out there.
Right.
Could we be them, in a sense?
What do you mean?
Some people theorize that these beings might actually incarnate as humans.
Really?
Yeah, to experience our reality more fully.
That's a mind-bending concept. It kind of blurs the lines between us and them.
Yeah.
It suggests that maybe we're more interconnected than we realize.
Exactly. Yossi didn't really seem to resonate with that idea, though at least not in terms of the beings he encountered.
He didn't.
He felt that they could easily shift between dimensions and create physical forms whenever they needed to.
Right. His experience points to a level of mastery over a physical reality that's hard to even comprehend.
It is. But regardless of where they come from or why they're interacting with us, Yossi's story is a powerful reminder of the potential that lies within each of us.
Yeah.
If we can tap into that potential, maybe, just maybe, we can overcome the challenges we face and create a brighter future.
Absolutely. It's a call to action, to move beyond that fear and division.
Yeah.
And really embrace a more expansive, compassionate way of being in the world.
It really is.
Yeah.
And what's inspiring is that Yossi, he didn't just have this experience and keep it to himself.
Right.
He actually wrote a book about it.
He did.
Yeah, it's called One, Face-to-Face Contact.
Wow.
To share his insights.
Yeah.
And hopefully, help others who might be going through something similar.
That's amazing. It takes a lot of courage to come forward with a story like this,
Right?
People are often afraid of being ridiculed or dismissed.
Absolutely. There's still so much stigma around these topics.
Yeah.
But by sharing his story, Yossi's helping to break down those barriers and open up a space for more honest conversations about, the nature of reality and the possibilities that might exist beyond what we currently understand.
Exactly. And his book offers such a unique perspective on these encounters, It just goes beyond the sensationalism and really dives into the deeper implications for human consciousness.
It does.
And how we understand the universe. It's thought-provoking, to say the least.
It really is.
Yeah.
And he even offers some practical advice on how to connect with one's higher self.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and potentially even communicate with these beings.
Wow.
He emphasizes that it's not, some exclusive ability.
Right.
But something we might all be capable of with the right mindset and practice.
It's empowering to think that we might have that capacity within us, to connect with other dimensions and other beings, to expand our awareness and tap into a greater source of knowledge and wisdom.
It's like opening a door to a whole new world.
It really is.
Yossi's story. It's a powerful reminder that reality is far more mysterious and multifaceted than we often realize.
Absolutely.
It challenges us to question our assumptions, to explore new possibilities, and to approach the unknown with curiosity and an open heart.
His experience really invites us to consider that we might be part of something much vaster and more interconnected than we can currently imagine.
Exactly. A reality where consciousness plays a key role and where the lines between the physical and the spiritual are much more fluid than we think.
It's a beautiful and mind-blowing concept.
It really is.
Yeah.
So what does all of this mean for you?
Yeah.
What resonates with you most deeply from Yossi's story? Does it spark a sense of wonder? A desire to explore your own inner world? Or maybe even a shift in how you perceive reality?
These are all such important questions for us to reflect on.
They are.
Maybe Yossi's experience can serve as an invitation for us to step outside of our comfort zones, to challenge those limiting beliefs, and to embrace a more expansive view of ourselves and the universe.
I love that. And if you're feeling inspired to delve deeper into these ideas, remember to visit Cavalli.top.
Yes, you'll find a wealth of resources and information there to guide you on your journey of exploration and self-discovery.
It's a fantastic hub for anyone seeking to expand their awareness, connect with like-minded people, and contribute to a more conscious and harmonious world. Thank you for joining us on this incredible deep dive into Yossi Ronen's extraordinary encounter. It's been a mind-bending and heart-opening exploration.
We hope this episode has sparked your curiosity and inspired you to explore the mysteries of consciousness and the potential for human transformation.
Until next time, keep seeking, keep questioning, and keep diving deep. And thank you for listening to the Cavalli.top podcast.